Hey guys, welcome back to At Home Macon episode 4, where we're featuring Macon Beer Company. We're going to be sitting down with owners Yash and Deano and talk about all things Macon, their impact, their brews, their new menu that's rolling out this week, and all things downtown Macon. So sit back, enjoy. I hope you enjoyed the episode. All right, guys, welcome back to At Home Macon episode 4. Sitting down with Macon Beer Company, Yash Patel and Deano, owners. How y'all doing today?
Doing well.
How are you?
Doing fantastic, man. Thank you for asking. Thank you for joining us today. We greatly appreciate it. Especially everything going on, rolling out the new menu, coming out soon, all that kind of stuff. Super excited.
Absolutely.
Very excited.
Fantastic, man. Well, let's kind of start it out and introduce the Macon Beer, which I'll do, and that kind of thing.
So Macon Beer Company is the first brewery and distillery in Middle Georgia since Prohibition. We started our beer production in 2013, and we recently added craft spirits.
Okay.
So we do our own, of course, flagship Macon Progress, which is our pale ale, Macon Love, which is our award-winning cherry blonde rye ale. And in addition to that, we've added our 3-year bourbon and a 4-year American whiskey. We also do a 100% cane sugar rum,
Wow.
a 3-year rum, and gin and vodka, of course.
Well, fantastic.
We distribute all around Georgia, but recently we focused on our locality with everything in mind as far as the coronavirus and everything is concerned. So we brought everything out of home to service our community more.
Fantastic. Awesome. And you said y'all started brewing here in 2013. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
Let's talk about the beginnings of Macon Beer Company.
Sure.
So I know my research on that, I saw a little bit. You came on board. So let's talk about the beginnings. Like, first brewery since Prohibition in Macon, Georgia.
Yes. So it was founded in 2011 by Jeremy Knowles, and I came on board a few years after that. He was transitioning out, and I was transitioning in, basically.
From law school, is that
From
right?
law school, yes, from
crazy.
law school. I dropped out with, I think, 1 semester left to do beer.
Wow.
Much to the disappointment of my mom. My dad already knew it was going to happen. So I got on board then, and basically what we did was we rebuilt the brand. I came on, I think, August 25th is what it was, and we basically brought everything back in, brought back all product, and started fresh. Retweaked the recipes, redesigned, and kind of just took a litmus test of where we were at that point. Increased quality, increased consistency, and increased our reach. And that's basically what we did. It was a very, very shoestring operation where I was the only employee in the first year, basically. And I did everything from brew, package, cellar, and also drive deliveries to my distributors. And after that, we grew our team and brought in much more capable and talented people that could help elevate the brand. And the natural progression of that we saw as just a brewery based off of Oglethorpe Street was that there's at this point, when I was thinking about this, there had been a brewery opening up every single day in America for the last 5 years.
Really?
Right. So we knew that competing with distributors as a single, at that point, single owner and investor brewery, it would be very hard to compete with those guys that had 30, 40, 50 investors. Because if they needed to raise capital, all they need to do is ask for $1,000 every month, and they got $50,000 like that. We weren't in that same situation. We were shoestringing and bootstrapping everything. So what we did was this natural progression, which is to open up our own brew pub. So we opened up this spot, and this opened up last October. And to enhance what we do, we brought on Michael Dean as a partner to enhance and take us to the next level. Because we'd kind of peaked as far as, our culinary stuff was concerned and all that. We just needed that next, that person who could grow us and take us beyond that level, which he has done very, very successfully and fruitfully. And that's kind of us in a nutshell as far as the liquid is concerned. I think Deano can tell you more about the food.
Fantastic.
Sure. Yeah, I came on board this past August with my partners, and really just with having the experience that I did in downtown and kind of knowing that it is a pretty tight-knit community and still has opportunities to grow. There's still ways to be in the scene, but doing things a little different. So that was kind of my vision, is to kind of take what they had already started with the first part of opening up and just add to that. And so we just came in, we really focused on working together as a team, which I call a family. us, being there for each other, and then creating an environment where when the guests come in,
Mm-hmm.
they feel like they're in our living room or in our kitchen. And then obviously the food plays a big factor in that as well. So we just made a big push and a big focus on quality.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my chefs in the back that if you wouldn't send it out to your grandmother, I don't want it coming out of my kitchen. So that kind of resonates with them and just kind of sets the standard for what we try to do every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's to put out the best quality food and service possible.
Absolutely. So what were you doing? So Yash came out of law school coming into making beer. What did you do before coming into making beer?
So I was in the restaurant business for 20 years.
Uh-huh.
And decided to take a little break from that, and actually got into the food sales side and the consulting side with Cisco. And so I did that for about a year and a half, and learned a ton about the business. It really kind of pulled back the curtain to a lot of stuff that I had not seen before, and really I think helped sharpen my skills.
Mm-hmm.
So we. I was again working with them, and I was actually working hand in hand with Yash as their food rep, and I really enjoyed the relationship that Yash and I developed. We are very like-minded people, very driven people. We love quality, love to work hard, and I just happened to kind of drop a little bug in his ear one day.
That's right. There you go.
And told him, hey, if something ever pops up, please consider me. And just a few weeks later, I was sitting down with him and my other partners, and it really has just turned out to be one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. So I'm very proud to be a part of this team and to continue to work with Yash on building this brand and really showing off what making beer is really all about.
Absolutely fantastic. So you came on more of the culinary food kind of thing, but when Yash joined, it was strictly brewing beer, correct?
Right.
And this wasn't your first encounter with brewing beer. So from what I know, you started at the age of 13?
Yeah, so a very young age. So my cousin, one of my cousins and Jeremy, the original founder of Macon Beer Company, were very good friends.
Yeah.
So they would homebrew together. And when they homebrewed, I was kind of just like the little assistant, right?
Yeah.
So the clean up, the take down, the take out, and all that stuff. So I had a very close encounter with it. And just being a very curious person, I was very fascinated by how the process worked. So when they were doing their thing, I would also try to do side brews with them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where my experimentation started. And it kind of stopped after they stopped. And, Jeremy got into more of the serious side of it. And I was, obviously too young to be helping with that stuff. And it's funny how things come around full circle.
Exactly.
Sometimes, right? So when I was, I think I was just starting law school, my same cousin called me and he said, hey, there's this opportunity. I think, he's ready to transition out to do something else, some more, fruitful endeavors.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of done with his interest with making beer.
Yeah.
Is this something you're interested in? I was like, sure, man. It seems like there's this connection and there's this like causal loop, right? So I said, hey, why not? So I went and talked to him in, I think May. And we just chatted and I said, hey, why don't I come by, see how it works on a serious level.
Yeah.
See if it works out for me. And when I started doing it and just learning from it, I was like, man, this is some really, really cool stuff.
Was production still at Oglethorpe at that point in
Yes,
time?
and it still is. So
Okay.
Oglethorpe Street is still our main production facility.
That's purely production,
That is
correct?
purely production. That is purely production. So we still have a system here,
Yeah.
which is about a quarter of the size,
Mhm.
and we do production here for here.
Okay.
So our newer batches, experimental batches, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went to Oglethorpe Street and kind of learned from him, I really saw what made me fall in love with craft beer wasn't the beer itself. Everybody likes beer. Everybody likes drinking beer. It's fine. But the communal aspect of it, kind of like what Dino said, it's not, you don't come here just as a guest, you come here and you leave as part of our family.
Mm-hmm.
We take that very seriously. That's something that him and I have very strongly in common. Is when you come here for the ultimate experience. You come here and you're treated as if you're a friend that we haven't seen in years, or a friend or family member we just saw the other day.
Exactly.
You have the regulars, you have the folks that are coming off the interstate. And beer is one of those unifying things where you can go to any city in any country in this part of the world and sit down at the end of the bar and leave at least with one new friend.
Mm-hmm.
You might not talk to him ever again, but for that moment and for that evening, you've made a friend. right? And that's what beer kind of does, right? You can share the things you like about a beer or what you don't like about a beer, and it brings people together. It's a very communal aspect.
That's
right?
beautiful.
It's a
That's
communal
a
thing.
beautiful way to say it.
And that's what really made me fall in love with it,
Mhm.
is to bring this aspect of community and friendship and fellowship to people in Macon.
Mhm.
And that was how I got into it. That's
Exactly.
what makes me love what I do every day.
Exactly. I do want to comment on that. So walking in, you want people to feel like their family
Of course.
and treated. So walking in through the doors, what can a customer expect walking through the doors of Macon Beer Company? You know?
Well, you know, again, it kind of starts with the host.
Mm-hmm.
The host, I tell them all the time, that's the first thing that people see when they walk in the door, and the last thing they see on the way out. So it's very important that, you know, the host, you know, that it's just like hosting a party at your house. You know, you don't want to open the door to a party at your house and welcome. You know,
Yeah.
You're excited
You
to
want
see
to
them.
feel invited
Right,
and all
yeah.
that stuff.
And you know, we work hard on creating, like I said, the environment. You know, not only with the building itself. I mean, the building's got a lot of character. It's got a lot of kind of hidden stories behind it.
Let's talk about that a little bit. So y'all were down on Oglethorpe. Y'all
Mhm.
moved here. And a big part of that was maintaining the historical value of the trademark of the
Absolutely.
actual building. So
Absolutely.
you'll notice outside, you'll see the laundromat.
Right.
It's a laundromat. So what was the previous use of the building?
So the facade that has Independent Laundry Co.
Yeah.
on it in that blue and white tile mosaic.
Yeah. And that's
really-
y'all's colors, right?
Those are our colors,
Yeah.
and it's very coincidental. So when we bought this building, we didn't realize. Well, we had this inkling, right, that it's a historical building, and there might be something behind the brick,
Uh-huh.
but we didn't know.
Y'all didn't know about that?
We didn't know.
Wow.
So we buy this building. We're all sitting down at Oglethorpe Street one afternoon, and we're just kind of like, man, we need to get closer to downtown. We need to expand it in downtown. We need to bring our services and our commitment to quality downtown.
Why is that thought? Why did y'all have that thought be closer to downtown? So
Foot
just
traffic.
be foot traffic?
Foot traffic. And being more engaged with downtown proper.
And were y'all serving food at this point, or was it really
No.
just
So Oglethorpe Street the only food we had was 50-cent popcorn,
Mhm.
and usually we just gave it out for free.
Yeah.
But it was our popcorn machine, the same one that's still upstairs.
Fantastic. I love it.
So it was popcorn and beer,
Mhm.
basically, right? And people were more than welcome to order in, go get food from any of the great places in downtown. But we just wanted to be more engaged in the downtown community and be more of a part of it.
Mhm.
Because we were already there, the restaurants already had our beer. So we just wanted to be there,
Mm-hmm.
be neighbors with everybody. But when we bought the building, we didn't know what was behind the brick. So somebody, I guess in the 70s, who bought the building,
Yeah.
put this fake brick, or not a fake brick, but a facade of
Mhm.
brick out on top of this original brick. So we buy it, we start removing the brick, and it was literally brick by brick.
Yeah.
Because you have, it's a very busy sidewalk. You've got a lot of people walking, so
Mhm.
you can't just take
You can't start
you
demolishing
can't take
everything.
you can't take slabs of brick off. So we're taking brick by brick off. And one of the guys is taking these bricks off right in that middle section where
Yeah.
it says that, Independent Laundry Company, and it's he sees a little bit of blue, he sees a little bit of white. He calls, he's like, hey man, we've got this thing coming on. What should we do? Should we wait or should we keep going? So he keeps going, and it just turns out that coincidentally it's our company colors. It's blue and white.
What was that experience like, finding out that behind this brick is actually, I mean, obviously it's a beautiful sign. It's pretty
Absolutely.
historic. What was that experience like, getting that
It
phone
was
call?
it was like, man, this was really meant to be.
Yeah.
Like this is definitely the right step.
Mhm.
And we're going in the right direction. This is something that has happened at the right time.
Mhm.
Basically, because this building had been vacant for years,
Mhm.
and many people tried to buy it. And as we were taking the bricks off, there were so many people that would walk by, drive by, be like, hey, my dad used to work here, my mom used to work here. There was this guy who told us that his dad drove a Volkswagen, I guess van
Uh-huh.
full of the commercial laundry that they used to launder up here, and was the one who dropped it off around town. And he would come by, he's like, hey, do you mind if I take a brick home from my dad? It's like, okay, no, come on.
Of course.
And it really, really hammered in that point of how we are part of the community
Yeah.
and how we're giving back to the community. The community is giving back to
Mhm.
us. So it was
I
a
got
great, it
chills
was a
when
great
you
moment.
just said that. That was awesome.
And it was a great moment, just seeing the brick come off and you see our colors there. It's just like, man, this is what's up.
Uh-huh.
You know.
And were you on at that point in time when they moved to this location?
I was not yet.
And when you came on, it was a big focus went on serving food, and y'all were getting ready to roll out your new menu, right?
That's correct.
Can we talk about the new menu? Because I
Of
know
course.
y'all did a taste test, was it yesterday for it, but then all the employees heard it went really well.
Right.
So super excited for it. Tell us about the new menu rolling out. What kind of impact y'all want that to have?
Sure. So the original menu was centered around more bar, pub fare,
Okay.
wings, burgers,
Something to have with your beer kind of thing.
Right. And so again, when they asked me to come on board, it was like, let's kind of elevate the foods so that it equals how much love, care, time, consideration goes into the beer. So we kind of started whittling away at that. But what's funny is, again, it all comes full circle, but I had originally helped with writing the original menu for Macon Beer before I was a part of the company. So I was obviously familiar with a lot of the items that were on there and kind of, what we were looking at. So I just came in and really didn't make a ton of changes to the menu. It was more just kind of fine tuning everything. Again, about those details and really working with my chefs in the back and talking about, food and how we look at how different things touch the palate and textures and all that kind of stuff. And so we kind of started with that menu and they had done really well with it. It was very well received by the community. Again, we were able to enter a product that we were all very proud of for Macon Burger Week 2020 and was well received and we were able to win that, which was a big highlight for all my employees. They were very proud of themselves and they should be.
Yeah. First year entering, right? So first time you swept the competition.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So we gave the kitchen a chance to kind of get their feet under them and again, making sure that we're setting the standards. And I felt like they were ready and I felt like our restaurant was ready to take it up just a little bit. So we added 5, like what I call fork and knife entrees.
Okay.
Things that, when somebody comes down, they can kind of dress up the experience in the building as much as they want. And that's the beautiful thing about our building is that you can come in and have like a formal date. You can come in with your family on a Saturday afternoon and have a blast. You can bring your kids in, sit on the back patio and play Chutes and Ladders or Monopoly. So, I mean, there's all different kind of ways that you can, experience Macon Beer Company even under one roof. And so we just wanted to add another element to our menu that would allow people to taste some things that nobody else is doing, and be able to just kind of elevate the experience for the guests.
Exactly. What's the process of revamping a menu like? So you go into some kind of consultation because obviously you want to stay true to like the authentic character of the menu you all had before, but also hype it up and make the experience more for the consumer because it's not just a brewery anymore, it's a tap room and kitchen. So what's the process saying down like, okay, we got to revamp this menu? What's that like?
It starts off as a very creative process, and there's a lot of preparation and pre-work that's done. Number one, because we are such a tight-knit community downtown, you don't want to kind of be stepping on other people's toes, and you want to be unique. So that's kind of where it starts there. Like, what are things that we can add to the menu that are gonna be unique and kind of fill that out. So you start there, and it's just like an architect or whatever. You just kind of start throwing these ideas out. I mean, it's literally, I call it my whiteboard, but I'm a very creative person naturally. And so things just pop into my head. And when they do, I'll just throw them on the whiteboard. And then you just kind of start taking piece by piece and kind of moving the puzzle around and saying, what works together, what textures work together, what flavors work together. From that point, I work again with Cisco as our provider of our food. They have a wonderful support team and support staff. And so we kind of put a list of all the things that we want to do. We communicate with their head chef. We went to Atlanta a few weeks ago to their test kitchen. And we just kind of play all day in the kitchen.
That's gotta be fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It is. And so once we get there, again, it kind of goes back through the fine-tuning process. And then the actual physical menu probably got, I don't know, close to 80 hours just in the menu portion of it. So
that's crazy.
It's a long process, but it as you're going through it, you're able to work collectively with your guys in the back and their input, and to be able to get to that final product and have it printed out, and then ultimately seeing the guests taste it and see the smile on their face. That's
That's what it's all about.
There's no paycheck that can pay that. So
There you go. And this new menu is rolling out Friday, correct?
that is correct.
Is there any sneak peeks you can tell us about us? Anything like that?
Some of the we put a couple of them on our social media pages. The Wagyu and bison blended chop steak.
Wow.
Got a lot of movement on there.
Wow.
Yeah. We're doing a butcher shop mac and cheese. My brother owns a butcher shop down in Warner Robins. and
Okay.
They're famous for their homemade Hawaiian Mafia sausage. So
Wow, that sounds delicious.
yeah, we take a white cheddar mac and cheese with some ground Hawaiian Mafia sausage, some pork belly. We cook it in a cast iron with some panko breadcrumbs in the oven. And when it comes out, we top it with some fried pork skins that have been tossed in Texas peat dust. So it's they're not only flavorful,
Yeah.
and they are unique, but they're also what I like to call Instagrammable food.
Exactly.
And everybody loves to take pictures of their food now.
Food eats
Right.
first. Food eats
right.
That's right. So again, we understand that eating with your eyes is just as important as eating
Yeah.
with with your palate. So we try to put both of those things together and kind of just complete the full
Exactly.
circle.
Well, those dishes kind of sound like upscale, like a modernized, like classic Southern
Right.
comfort food.
Right.
I absolutely love.
Yeah, we have a sweet tea brined fried chicken breast, and that's what I want to do. I wanted to kind of keep it, a Southern kind of based, but just kicking up just a little bit, and throw some curveballs in there,
Yeah.
like the Wagyu and the bison, instead of
Yeah.
just your traditional
Ground beef.
right? So, yeah, we've got, like I said, we got 5 of those. We got 2 new burgers on the menu, one being the Second Street Heat, and then I've got a new dessert that's I think is going to do really well.
Exactly. Well, tell us about the Second Street because we know it won Macon Burger Week, first place. So, what is that burger like? What's that burger?
So the beef in and of itself is kind of an upgraded version of just a regular ground beef that most people sell. Again, going back to Cisco, they have a brand called Certified Angus, and with that comes 10 criteria that this cow has to meet before it can be considered certified Angus. And that criteria pushes it up to the highest level possible as far as grading beef is concerned. The other thing is, instead of just byproduct of cut steaks or whatever, this burger is a blend of short rib, chuck, and brisket. So it's a lot more tender than a regular burger. Again,
based off the bat, high quality cuts.
very high quality. Yeah. The second thing is the seasoning, and I'm not going to give that away.
Of course not. Gotta keep some secrets.
And it is what people refer to as a smash burger. So it's not a thicker burger. It's 2 4-ounce patties that are actually, smashed on that grill, and that gets a little bit of that crust on there, a little bit of that, smoky flavor from the grill.
Kind of more like a diner style.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And so a little bit more, a different texture in there. And then we came up with a pimento cheese that's a little bit different. Again, everything we do is like a kind of a twist. And obviously pimento cheese has kind of made a resurgence in the last 10 years, and everybody has it and everybody eats it. But we did we roasted some poblano peppers, and we took Cabot white cheddar cheese and made our homemade white cheddar pimento cheese. And that goes on the burger itself. It melts down. We add some applewood smoked bacon, and then kind of the glue, if you will, is a homemade jalapeno and onion amber ale jam.
Okay. So bring some of the beer in there.
Right. And then we just finish it off with it's called an everything bagel bun. So it's a brioche bun, but it has everything bagel seasoning baked into the top. So you throw all that together, and obviously everybody likes it.
You're making me hungry right now. Absolutely. Fantastic. So you get off to talk about food because I'm getting hungry just hearing about it. So let's talk a little bit about the beer.
Sure.
We want to start from the beginnings, like kind of the first beers y'all started rolling out, because I know we can start there and then we can kind of go into, y'all do partnerships with everybody, so Macon Bacon. Y'all did a Black is Beautiful kind of combination. Like, let's talk about beer for a little bit.
Sure.
Okay.
Is right. So it's Making Progress, which is our pale ale.
Okay.
It's kind of a bridge beer, right? So if you've got somebody who only drinks big box domestics, right, which is not to be despised, but also wants to try something a little different, that's the beer for them.
Okay.
Right. It's the beer that kind of transitions you from engaging with your palate in a way that's not just, hey, I'm getting punched in the mouth with a bunch of hops. Right. Because it seems like every craft brewery you go to, all they want to do is something very extreme. But being in Macon, being in Middle Georgia, and being in the South, we need these transitional beers, right? We need these beers that will help bridge that gap
Yeah.
between the amateur and the aficionado.
Yeah.
So Macon Progress is that beer.
Mhm.
And then the next beer that we have is Macon Love, which is our cherry ripe blonde ale.
And that came out around Valentine's Day 1 year, right?
Valentine's Day and Cherry Blossom. It's
Okay.
the official beer of the Cherry Blossom Festival.
Fantastic.
And that's brewed with a lot of cherries, fresh cherries. I can't tell
Not
you-
any syrups or anything like that.
No syrups. We don't. So that's one thing that we don't do.
Yeah.
You'll never see us do, is use any essences, extracts,
Yeah.
cherries, or concentrates.
And that's a common thing among some breweries is to use these concentrates.
Many breweries.
Mhm.
It's cheaper, it's easier, and it's quicker.
Mhm.
We just don't believe in doing that. So, if you drink a lot of these other heavily fruited beers and you
Mhm.
wake up the next morning, you feel a little groggy.
Might have
Have
some
a headache.
sugar kind
And it's all that sugar that's in your
Yeah.
system, right? Because alcohol is just basically fermented sugar. That's all
Yeah.
it is. So when you add the base material to your body with the alcohol, you're
Yeah.
going to wake up feeling worse the next morning.
Yeah.
Right. So if you drink any of our fruited beers, you won't have that grogginess in the morning unless you drink like 15 of them.
Mhm.
And then it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's because we use fresh fruits and we let them also ferment with the other
Mhm.
additional, the base sugar.
of. Okay.
So it's a natural product. It's
Mm-hmm.
an organic product. We don't use anything processed.
Mhm.
We do the processing ourselves.
Local fruit as well,
Yeah,
right?
local fruit. So we try to keep everything as hyper local as possible.
Mhm.
So like our Macon Dreams, which is a sister beer to the Macon Love,
Mhm.
is the same beer, but instead of the cherries, we use peaches from Lane's Orchard.
Okay.
So you buy those whole, cut, processed, clean, ferment,
Mhm.
and it turns into the peach blonde rye ale, right? So those are both seasonal beers. The cherries we're able to get mostly year round. The
Mhm.
peaches we can't. So
Yeah.
now we're out of the Macon Dreams, and it won't be back till next
Yeah.
crop. We've got that. We've got the River Rush, which is our New England IPA, which is a new thing, newer thing. Which is our hazy IPA. We do a lot of that stuff. We had our Little Richard memorial beers,
Mhm.
commemorative beers, Wap Baba Loo Baba, Wap Bam Bam. And we did those, and those are also sister beers, and they are brewed with this experimental yeast strain from Norway, which is called Queek. So we do a lot of these like very specific, detail and thoughtful beers, right? So Queek is a generationally passed down yeast strain,
Okay.
right? And it's like these yeast strains that they've resurrected basically from farmhouse ales from the Scandinavian countries. So we use two of these strains to make a pale ale and the IPA,
Yeah.
which is that commemorative beer for Little Richard.
Mhm.
Um,
How do y'all come up with these new combinations? Because I'm not a beer aficionado by
Sure.
any means, but those sound like pretty far off from like the
Right.
traditional. You'll find out a traditional craft brewery.
So what we try to do is, and what we focus on a lot is high quality ingredients and high quality processes.
Mhm.
So what we don't want to do is throw a bunch of just cheap stuff in. We do a lot of, not higher brow, but a higher quality product.
Okay.
So what we do is a lot of research.
Mhm.
A lot of research and a lot of talking shop. I'll come down here, I'll talk to Dino, and you'll talk to me, and we'll
Mhm.
talk back and forth. Our friends and family will come in here, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about, hey, what is something that you think would be really cool?
Mhm.
And we just have this kind of open forum where we kind of just, shoot the shit. Just like
Exactly.
say, hey, what do you think about this idea? And we'll have pushback. We'll get into these heated debates, and we'll get an idea from that.
Mhm.
Right. And sometimes you're just looking at something and you're just like, man, you know what would be really interesting is a beer that tastes like this. Right.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the beer making process. So we do a lot of research and see what is coming out that is still a traditional product,
Mhm.
but isn't too far off. Right. So you won't see us dumping a bunch of warheads into a beer. Right. We just don't do that. And it's, again, not to be
Yeah.
despised. People do that and they're very successful and they're very good at it.
Mhm.
That's just not what we do.
That's not
here.
what y'all think.
That's not our
Mhm.
thing. We do traditional beers, traditional beer styles, and beer that tastes like beer,
Mhm.
basically. Yeah. We do, we have newer techniques that we use, newer items that we use, and newer ingredients that we use.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, you can still recognize it as a beer,
Okay.
right? It's not going to be something just,
Yeah.
insane.
Exactly.
That's just not our style, basically. But the beer making process here, again, comes back to the main aspect of community
Mhm.
and being able to share a product
Mhm.
with somebody else
Mhm.
and getting along over that or discussing over that.
Mhm.
And that's basically what our thought process is. Is this beer going to be good enough to put on our taps to bring people together
Mhm.
and help them find something in common that they can talk
Mhm.
about? And that's essentially it sounds kind of ethereal, but that's the concept
Exactly.
of our beers.
Exactly. So it sounds like y'all really care about like your vision here for the vision for
Absolutely.
Macon Beer Company. That's also the impact that y'all are having on the Macon community. Is that
Absolutely.
right? Can we talk about a little bit about what kind of impact y'all want to have in downtown Macon? Because obviously y'all are very influential down here, but when people think Macon Beer Company in downtown Macon, or just Macon in general, what do you want people to perceive?
I think as far as the craft side is concerned, the craft beer, craft spirit side is concerned, we're just, we're kind of like we're the old school Macon's original beer.
Yeah.
That's what we are. We're Macon's original beer, right? So we are your neighborhood bar, pub, tap room, kitchen, whatever you want to call us. We're here for you. We're here for the community, and we're here to make sure to kind of vanguard the culture of craft, of pushing the limit, but being mindful of our community and making sure we're doing what's right for our people, our town, and how we can help give back to our community.
Because over the last half decade or so, you've seen across the nation, you spoke to earlier, is like these craft breweries popping up everywhere, and maybe there might be not as intention behind a lot of them, and since like you're being trying to be very intentful.
We're very thoughtful about what we put out. Either if it's on the menu, like said, 80 hours just on a new menu, revamp. We take a lot of time, which can be perceived as being slow on some things, but we don't want to rush things either. We want to give a high quality experience and a high quality product. And we like to take our time with that. We want to be mindful of what we're doing. We want to be mindful of what we're putting on our plates and in our pints, right? We don't want to just be like, hey, look, here's this beer. Here's what I've got. I'm gonna throw the kitchen sink out, right? We don't do that.
Exactly.
We're thoughtful, mindful, and receptive to the feedback we get, right? And that's basically what we do on the beer side, and then the alcohol side is being mindful. How can we help, and what causes are there that we can use our platform for, and move them forward?
Yeah. Can we talk about leading in the Black is Beautiful?
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So that was a movement that was started by a brewery in Texas called Weathered Souls. And basically the way it worked is the brewer and owner of that brewery said, hey, here's what we want to do. We want to make this beer where 100% of the proceeds will get donated to your favorite nonprofit, basically. So we get to choose. And basically the stipulation is the nonprofit has to focus on mass incarceration, how to fix that, and police brutality towards minorities. So for us, that's especially being in the South, especially being in Macon, it's a very controversial thing. What we wanted to do was be mindful of everybody in the community and not basically be this, we don't want to be a radical whatever, right, on either side. But what we do want to do is be mindful of what is going on in our community and what is going on in the world. And how can we help with that? And if we can use our platform as Macon's original beer and kitchen, how do we push that forward, and how do we literally put our money where our mouth is?
Exactly.
Anybody can get on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram and say, hey, look,
tweet,
Black Lives Matter, Black is beautiful, but who is willing to put their money out there?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, not to be crass, but you need to have the money to push these things forward.
And that's exactly what y'all did.
And that's what we did, right? It's like, hey, here's what we're doing. Whatever we make off of this is going to a good cause, like it or hate it, whatever, right? And we did get a lot of support, and we also got a lot of pushback on that, but that is life.
Exactly.
Right? And if you are going to be somebody who really cares about the community, you have to feel with that. You have to grapple with that day in and day out. Yeah. Right? So you have to do things that matter, to us. They have to matter to us, and we have to see them being meaningful to the community as well.
Exactly.
And that's kind of how we got there. And that's something we plan on doing every year as well. It's not just gonna be a one-off thing.
Exactly.
It's not an intention grab. That's all we don't, have paid ads for it. It's like, hey, look, here's what we're doing. We don't care if you know or not, as long as we make this money and get it to the causes that help. That's what matters to us.
Exactly.
We're not doing it for the attention, the publicity. We're doing it for the cause, and that's basically it.
Fantastic. What was that beer? That brew?
It's Black is Beautiful was its own original porter. Is what it was. It was a 7% ABV porter. And that was also part of the guideline too. So it had to be a darker beer. So it had to be a stouter porter.
Okay.
Weathered Souls did provide a template for the recipe, but we didn't use it because we already have a bunch of porter and stout recipes that we hadn't had in stock. So we're just like, hey, we're just gonna do one of these. Okay. But it was great. It was a great thing. The Macon community really supported us with it, and I think we sold out of the 100 or so cases that we had of it. Except for, I think we have a few 6-packs here.
That's right.
The few 6-packs that we have here, the 100 or so that we had, we sold out within the first 2 weeks, and we re-upped just because it was getting hotter and hotter.
Fantastic.
So we've kept that in stock.
That's incredible. Deano, you want to talk about a little bit what impact you want Macon and beer to have on the downtown Macon community?
Yeah, I touched on it a little bit earlier, but with everything that's going on and how our lives have changed in the last 8 to 10 months. it kind of isolated a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I've learned for the most part, human beings need interaction. They need support. They need to be around each other.
Social creatures.
And we are social creatures. And, you know, people, I understand that there's a balance between, you know, obviously we're very, very focused on keeping a clean environment, a safe environment. We have outdoor patio front and back that, you know,
All the
allows
protocols.
people, right, exactly. But I'm just seeing that people are just loving getting back to some normalcy. And we want to make sure that, again, like I said earlier, that we are doing everything that we can do to prepare ourselves as you know, employees of Macon Beer to create those clean environments, the comfortable environments, the inviting environments. Like I said, when you walk in the door and the host is excited to see you. When you sit down at the bar, the bartender knows your name. When you're hanging out with your family, you sit down with them and you know, play a hand of cards. Like, it's really just driving, you know, I look at this building and this business and our brand as an opportunity to make an impact, a positive impact in people's lives through great food and great drink. And so that's always been my vision for what I do. It's my passion, and people can see it come through inside these four walls.
Fantastic. I'm bringing like a sense of normalcy because I mean we've been dealing with this COVID thing for almost a year now. I mean, and people are going crazy being inside their house. Absolutely. Providing a safe environment where the sanitation is important, but also bringing that sense of normalcy back. So it's like they can come here, they can sit in a restaurant, but they can also, they're protected by the safety protocols that y'all take.
That's right.
That's absolutely fantastic. So kudos to y'all for that.
Thanks.
Fantastic.
Just being part of the community, I know we're very close to a military community, which is Warner Robins.
Exactly, Air Force Base,
which is where Deano lives and is from. And we try to give back to every cause that we can. If some college kids come down here and they're like, hey, look, we want to do this thing and we need to raise some money for X, Y, and Z, we're usually like, hey, look, we'll do it. That's what it's all about. That's we're kind of like an elder statesman in the community as far as food and drink is concerned. So if we don't do it, who will?
Exactly.
Is the way we look at it.
Leading by example.
Right, we have to lead by example. Like we work with Mercy University's, Emmy Miracle, right? So we work with them, and they do the dance-a-thon. So we sponsor their stuff. We help them raise money,
and they'll raise a lot of money, like almost like I want to say I don't know this, but like $250,000.
Yeah, I think that's what they raised last year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And we did the proceed night for them here last year before COVID and stuff, where you could have people around, and we did a proceed night for them, just to help raise money for good causes, community causes. We've worked with the Altamaha River Keepers before, the Other Starting Foundation. I mean, we keep going on and on about who we've worked with and what we've done. But I mean, basically the point and the meaning of us being here is, of course, everybody likes to make money. Everybody enjoys having money, but that's not the point. We're here not to just make money and line our own pockets. You can do that doing a much easier job, right? But what we're here to do is help uplift folks that might be in a bad position, that might need a little bit of help, that might need a little bit of guidance. And that's our employees or guests and anybody that walks through the store. If we are here for them, whether if they need a good meal, they need a good drink, or they just need a good conversation, we're here to provide all that. And that's all we want to do.
Yeah, I love that. Really supporting the fans, making everyone family.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Now you got it.
I had big glasses on.
Go on.
Fantastic. So awesome, guys. Thank you so much for sitting down with us today. Appreciate it. So tell all the viewers what they need to know about making beer and where they can go, where they can find you.
Absolutely. So we have Macon Beer, the tap room and kitchen. It's on 458 2nd Street right here in downtown Macon. Look for the blue and white. We are open Monday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. On Friday and Saturday, we are open from 11 to 10 p.m. And then on Sundays we do brunch with our regular menu, but we do have a pretty funky brunch menu that rotates every Sunday.
I saw that
from 11 to 6. Yeah, it's been very well received. So, again, going back to what we've kind of touched on this entire time, that I want the community to know that Yash and I are here for them, and in whatever capacity we can help. And in the meantime, we'll just be here slinging good food, slinging good drinks, and again, creating that environment where people can't, they're walking out saying, I can't wait to get back. So you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can pretty much posting every day, whether it be specials or new beers or whatever it is. But that's kind of how you kind of keep in touch with us, what's kind of going on in the day in and day out. And then obviously you can visit maconbeer.com to check out our menu. And I think that's it.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you all so much, guys.
Of course.
Really appreciate it. Everyone, come down, visit Macon Beer Company, take some pictures of your awesome food. Make sure to tag them on Facebook and Instagram. And we will see y'all next week with the next interview. Have a great one.
Hey guys, thank y'all so much for watching this episode of At Home Macon. Macon Beer Company has been very generous to provide us a $20 gift card to give away to one of y'all. So to be entered to win this gift card, please share this video. That's all you gotta do. Make sure your privacy settings are open to where we can see, or at least send us a message and say that you shared it. But other than that, share this episode and you'll be entered to win the gift card. We'll make the announcement this Friday at noon. So look forward to talking to y'all soon. Have a great one. Bye.